Well, so we're gonna do a real quick talk about Insecure because I'm very tired, you guys, and I'm doing a lot right now. At any given time, I'm doing like 8 million things. I thought Insecure came back this weekend. It did not. They started filming this weekend for the final season. So, I am very happy that they're back in production. I am very happy that they're going to end when Issa Rae wants them to end, and they're not going to try to drag it out like the other thing that's coming back now, which is Sex and the City. What do you want for season 5? What do you want for the final season?
Wow. So I need the girls to come back together because the loyalty chains and the egos have come in the way so much between them.
Yeah.
It's just ruined it. And it's either they need to come together and be like real best friend, like sister friends, or they need to split ways.
Her alone. Yep.
Because I mean, I think we've all had friendships like that before. And I mean, that's what I love this show so much is
so honest.
It's so honest.
Brutally honest.
And which girl has never been through this before in some stage in their life? I don't care how old you are, because girls are petty as ugh. Anyways, about say, yeah, I want to see either some conclusion at the end where they're harmonious and they respect each other and they're there for each other, or I want to see them completely separate away from each other and healthy and happy. And being the last season, and you're right, I'm glad that they're ending it instead of dragging it out like so many shows do, where they just beat the horse to death. I'm drunk. I'm sorry.
Oh my
God. There's this saying, nobody wants to beat a horse to death. Oh, Lord, Allie. Anywho's about me. How's that vodka, you ask? It's wonderful.
What's bad is that this would be 10 times worse if we were together. That's the thing.
Had like random shots of things too.
Yes. Oh my God. I want Natasha Rothwell's character. I want Kelly to have a fully fledged storyline. I feel like everybody else got a real storyline and Kelly got relegated to best friend for everyone else. And Natasha Rothwell deserves so much better than that. And she brings so much into Kelly's internal life. And I want to see more Kelly before the show ends.
Yeah.
I need to see more Kelly. I need to see more of Issa's brother before the show ends. I need Molly to acknowledge that it was comfortable for her to be the one that was always together. Because we've all had that friend who was always supportive of you because they always expected you to be the fuck up. And so the minute you stop being a fuck up, all of a sudden their whole attitude changed. And I love Molly because she's so honest. This show is so real. It's so brutally honest. It's so honest. But at the same time, in order for Molly to grow as a character, she needs to acknowledge that while Issa has screwed up, and I think we can all agree that Issa screwed up, when Issa did shit, like she almost ruined Issa's entire festival.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's some shit that, like, I'm sorry. If I'd been Issa, I would have knocked Molly the fuck out. I'm sorry. Now, that's just me as a rule. But I'm like,
not be friends at that moment, but you should have at least some underlying respect for that person.
right.
That you don't pull that shit. Like, you
Right.
still have a love there for that person. Like, I mean, there's certain friends that I don't talk to anymore that I still love.
Yeah.
But
I'm not. Exactly. I might not fuck with you no more, but I wouldn't wish you ill, and I wouldn't come to your event and fuck it up.
Intentionally, yeah.
Yeah. And catch an attitude over something that everybody does. If you have a connection, you use it.
Mm-hmm.
So, the final scene of the season where they met, and I guess Molly called her. It was implied that Molly called Issa. The fact that Molly reached out was a good sign. But I need this show. Issa's going to be a grown up by the end of the show. Of that, I'm not. She's going to mess up, but she clearly has grown so much between season 1 and now. But I need Molly to acknowledge that she needed to grow, because as far as Molly was concerned, Molly was never wrong in any way. I also need us to touch on the fact that Tiffany is going through postpartum depression a little bit more than 2 episodes. Like, it was always kind of running in the background of the series, but I need us to see her in therapy. For one thing, from a personal point of view, in the Black community, therapy is still taboo. So I need to see somebody going to therapy in my media and it not being a bad thing, or they're weak for doing so.
Yeah.
Because she went off the rails, and it was really upsetting, but it was also very true to what a lot of moms go through. And then there's all Lawrence and Chanceletta, and I was so mad about that. Whatever her name is, Concetta, Chanceletta.
Yeah.
Cheeky Boom Boom. I don't know. Pancetta. Ross said pancetta.
Oh my God.
You know, I was actually genuinely pissed off about that, because here's the thing. I really liked her friendship with Issa.
Yeah.
And I hate that Penis messed that up.
It usually does.
But it's and that's the thing about this show. It's brutally honest. It usually does. It usually does. I really like their friendship. And then when she turned out pregnant, I'm like, this is why you use condoms, show. Ugh.
Other forms of birth control, so that you don't have these whoopsies. I'm gonna ruin a bunch of lives.
Yeah, that scene with her being like, it's too much. It's too much. That hurt me. But at the same time, I'm like, well, fine ass, oh good Lord, I forgot what his name is, Golden Eyes, is right there waiting to take over, because he still thinks Lawrence is a piece of shit. And he was like, oh, you going back to Lawrence? So, yeah, I'm ready for this. I'm so ready for the show to be back, you guys. I can't. I'm so
excited.
I know. I was so excited too. And then when Ron was like, it's not back yet. And I was like, what do you mean?
What do you mean it's not? I was like,
oh, no. So talking.
Not on my DVR schedule.
What's happening? So going from a show that we want to be back, into a show that we're like, okay, Sex and the City is coming back.
It's true. It is. So just when you thought these
it was over,
crazy middle-aged New York women didn't have another story to tell. Apparently they do.
Ugh.
I honestly, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna watch it. Um,
That's
I
if you're a completionist.
I hope it's not as bad as the last one because that was hot mess. Like they should have just ended it at the first movie and done. Like Carrie got married, okay, but
And
if
we're done.
you can't have Sex in the City without Samantha. She's the whore of the group. Well, the whorish is one of the group. And I guess there's bad blood with the cast. But why are you making another one?
This is one of those instances where I'm like, there are so many new properties out there that you guys could have optioned and thrown this money at. I mean, there's so many things. I'm like, I guarantee you, if you had went to Mindy Kaling with this amount of money and been like, can you write me a show about 4 friends in New York? Mindy Kaling would have come up with some shit that would have been awesome. And she's just like off the top of my head, like literally in this moment I'm thinking of. Robin Thede. Hell, Amber Ruffin. Samantha Bee. There's so many other things that we could be doing that are not retreading the same old tired rich white women who make their own problems shtick. I think it's one of the reasons why I was drawn to Insecure over this, because I tried watching Sex and the City when it first came out. I genuinely did. Everyone I knew was into Sex and the City. And I tried, and I was like, these bitches are making their own problems. I can't. I cannot. And like, I know a bunch of people we know love the show, watched it, enjoyed it. I just have no patience for it. None. It's the friends versus living single thing for me all over again. Why would I watch Sex in the City when Girlfriends existed? Does that make sense? I would rather watch a new version of Girlfriends than watch Sex in the City all over again. I'm just like this shit offends me. I'm not gonna. I'm like, I am offended. And again, Kim Cattrall is the only reason to watch the fucking show. Like, let's be real. I barely remember anything that went on with Cynthia Nixon's storyline. The other brunette chick was boring as fuck, and I don't even remember her name. I love Sarah Jessica Parker as a person. I do not give a shit about her dumbass constantly making stupid decisions self. So the only person that's there who actually was like owned her sexuality and was an actual grown up about her body was Kim Cattrall's character. And also Kim Cattrall's fucking awesome as a human being. So I'm like, why would you take the one character that we all fucking universally love, who is played by the actress on the show, who stands outside of the show, who's still working and doing shit outside of the show? Because I don't know what anything Sarah Jessica Parker has been in since the reboot or the sequel to the Witches movie that they did for Halloween with her and Bette Midler.
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. So what are we doing? And Cynthia Nixon, as much as I love her, I hate Ratchet. I tried so hard, but Ratchet is a lot, and I don't like anybody on that show.
I love that show.
Huh?
I loved that show.
I couldn't. Everybody was so awful. I needed one person to root for, and the one person I could root for got murdered. Yeah. So I'm not trying to spoil anything for you guys. I'm just saying that the one person on the show who was root worthy was brutally murdered. So I'm like, well, then I don't need to be here. You got on a show like that, you got to have at least one person who is a genuinely good person, because everyone else is so fucking awful. So you got to have at least one person that's good And this isn't Westworld where there were shades of gray. Everybody was fucking awful on Ratchet, but that's a whole other conversation.
That's why it's called Ratchet.
Yeah, because they were a bunch of ratchet bitches. Anyway, I'm drunk. Anyway, so, I don't know.
Okay. So I didn't necessarily watch Sex and the City when it was like first out because I'm poor and didn't have HBO. So it wasn't until like college when I watched it and I was like, oh, this is fun. Some of it's kind of messed up, but it's fun. I was like, oh, yay, girl power, yay, sex. Woo! New York's fine. The stories are fun. The love stories are stupid because, oh my God, seriously, the storylines were just like, half the time they were nauseating and made you reflect a little bit too, I guess. I don't know. So I guess this movie, because of course Samantha's not in it.
Oh, it's not a movie. It's a television series. It's not a movie, Allie. It's going to be a whole show. They're making a whole new show.
No. I thought it was no.
It's what I'm saying.
They're making an entire show.
They're making a whole new series. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Is it? No. Is Mr. Big gonna be in it? I feel like that's an actor.
He's like Equalizer with Queen Latifah. So I don't know.
Done with this shit. He's like, I've been done with this shit. I barely even wanted to do the last movie. And like, oh, well, that's just stupid. Oh, well, I don't want to watch it anymore.
What I'm saying is what I'm saying.
Why? Oh my God. It's the ratings, and you know what? The ratings are going to be wonderful because it's going to be a bunch of bitter, middle-aged white women that are like, I'm going through menopause too.
So is what I'm saying. It's going to be great for the first. Here's what's going to happen. I guarantee you. The first 2 episodes. I got it, babe. I can do it. The first 2 episodes are going to have ratings like gangbusters because everybody's going to be like, how are they going to deal with Samantha not being there? But after that, it's going to fall apart. I would be shocked because the writing was not compelling the first time around. And it's sexist fuck. And we are in a different time period. We're a different age. With the things that we thought were okay just 10 years ago, that we would have brushed off just 10 years ago. Speaking of the thing that's going to be in the Lovely Angels podcast, because we're going to talk about Joss Whedon, but that's a whole other conversation, are going to be not going to fly. So who's writing this show? And they're like, it's the same team. And I'm like, you mean the same team that gave me all the shitty ass storylines the first time around? Womp womp. I'm like, no, thank you. Hard pass. Definitely not.
Well, that's even more disappointing. I don't want to watch an entire series. I barely wanted to watch another movie.
No. Nope. A whole bunch of nopes. So I guess
they're bored. I guess they're just bored. That's what it comes down to. They're bored.
Yeah.
And they have literally nothing else going on for themselves.
That part. So, in conclusion, Insecure. Yay! Back to the City. Boo! But good news, Issa Rae just signed a deal for 3 more series on HBO, either that she will be writing, producing, or starring in. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I love you.
Happy. And Mindy Kaling just signed a deal with Warner Brothers for a Velma series where she's voicing Velma from the Scooby Gang, as well as a 3-series deal with either she'll be writing, filming, or directing the show. So this makes me happy. And as Ron pointed out, if Sex and the City was done by a black lady sketch show as a parody, that I would watch. And I'm like, that I would fucking watch. But in the in between time, I would rather see us spend that money on people who actually have new ideas.
Yeah.
That's just me. And on that note, this is Belle.
This is Allie.
We are so drunk. So drunk. Thank you for hanging out with us. We, as my dogs go, bitch, you have not paid attention to us for 2 hours.
No, we need to wrap this up.
Can you wrap it up? Because we need attentions. We love you guys. Please, you can follow us at PC Uncovered on Twitter and Instagram, popcultureuncovered.com, Pop Culture Uncovered on Facebook and Tumblr. We have a bunch of amazing cosplayers for 28 Days of Black Cosplay. And we have also dropped 3, my side hustle, has been highlighting amazing comedians for 28 Days of Black Comedy. So check us out and check out our Patreon. If you want to support this content or content like it, please check out our Patreon. We are Pop Culture Uncovered on Patreon. Please, 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 please wear a mask, if not 2. Stay 6 feet apart from people who aren't in your bubble. Wash your hands. We love you. Please, we want to see you in 2022. Okay? Love you.
I love you.
Bye.
I love you.
I love you too. Love you.